Hey, my name is Michael Grogan. About 15 years ago, I believe that God placed a seed, a vision, a dream in my heart, which I pursued now for the past 15 years. I've moved into the poorest apartment buildings in the poorest congressional district in the United States, in the South Bronx. I moved into some of the worst buildings and would spend 1 year at a time, almost as a missionary, praying with and working with young people, particularly young men who have been involved with gangs, violence, and drugs. As time went on, I realized that the dream that God placed into my heart was to connect young people to their Heavenly Father through prayer. I'm starting this GoFundMe account, praying and hoping that people will be generous so that I can build a house of prayer for young people. This would be a place where they could come in off the streets, where there would be praise and worship music being sung and instruments being played. This would be a place for them to come in and encounter God, and where God could encounter them, where they could have a profound experience of the mercy, of the compassion, of the love, of the heart of their Heavenly Father. You know, all heaven is going to be is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's unceasing worship of God. And so my dream is to pull heaven down into the South Bronx so that young people who have been tagged as thugs and gangsters and hustlers, young people who have struggled with addictions, who have no clue what life is all about, could kind of jump in with the angels in heavenly worship, that they would have a place where a door is always open, where they could sing, where they could experience the presence of God. Maybe where they can even learn how to play an instrument and lead the worship. There'll be volunteers who will be there to pray with them individually, one-on-one, and kind of apply ointment, in a sense, a spiritual ointment, the oil of peace and mercy to the deep wounds of their broken hearts. My dream and my vision is that this will eventually become a house of 24/7 praise and worship. That as people get off the bus and get off the train, that they would stop in to this little storefront and pray. And so I'm raising money. I'm asking, I'm begging in the name of the poor, right here in New York. Young people who have been written off and forgotten. I'm asking on behalf of each one of them that you would give generously, and so that we can begin a project where heaven will invade earth, and where the poorest congressional district in the United States will become spiritually the richest congressional district. That this house of prayer, that these young people would experience power, and through their prayer, through their intercession, through their witness, through their radical transformations, because that's what this is all about, that they would have radical transformations, and that we would begin a school of music for them, so that they would become the musicians, the worship leaders, to glorify God. So that they would come from a history of violence to have a testimony of greatness and of power, and that their magnificent testimony would reach the four corners of this country, from the north to the south to the east and the west, that this house of prayer would change the country, would change the culture, because it starts with one. It starts with one. So I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please be generous. Please give generously. Please give wholeheartedly. We think about how much money we spend on a cup of coffee at Starbucks. how much money we spend going out to eat. We might blow $100 going out to eat. Would you give $100 to give a young person an opportunity to have an encounter with the living God? The South Bronx needs Jesus. Give until it hurts. Please share and spread this message. Share the GoFundMe with everybody you know. And I encourage you to give, because God cannot be outdone in generosity. Ask and you shall receive. So I'm asking and I'm begging. Let's build a house of prayer for the poorest of the poor. And let's build a house of prayer so that Jesus may be glorified and lifted high. Thank you very much. God bless you.